What's up, everybody? Welcome to Happiness Unchained. A question for you today. What do you guys consider self-care? Like, how would you define it in your words? And I really have just been thinking about this question because this is one of the things that I think a lot of people go in with a misconception, or the wrong idea of what that everything that's encompassed in it, right? I think we all know some layer of it, but in my experience, I have found sort of a way to up my self-care game, if you will, and that has helped me to really truly take advantage of those times of rest and recuperation. And it also helps me to propel myself forward into the life that I want, into the successes that I desire, into my goals, what have you. So I really just wanted to get input to see like how it is that you define it. And I think a lot of people out there think that self-care is just what I like to call the fluffy stuff, right? Like massages, bubble baths, maybe even a trip away or something of that nature. And yes, those are very necessary and part of the process. Please don't get me wrong, but there are other layers that go into self-care that I think a lot of us miss and could be the reason as to why we're not advancing forward. So for me, I'm sort of going through a little journey for myself and just really understanding like the things that truly help you in your self-care. And then also like just how it really helps you to move towards your goals when you are actually making time for yourself. So um, I am currently putting myself through a 100-day challenge. And that challenge started off as just like, let's shed a few pounds. And I had a couple of like little things I wanted to hit as far as my physique goes. That's how it started, and it's turned into like an amazing experience. So it really is about those things that are involved in self-care that we don't necessarily want to deal with or that we didn't realize were part of self-care and we were just sort of pushing it off. So it is me hitting, I set a revenue goal for my business and I set a like weight goal slash physique goal for myself. Every single day, there's just a routine that I do. I have routines in the morning and at night. That's like a whole different conversation for me to talk about those. Are just things I do every single day that set me up for success. And throughout those routines are things that help with the weight loss. Like I go for a run every day. And then, with my personal growth, I read every day and just different things of that nature, those things that help me to make sure that I'm continuously growing and learning so that I can attain the things that I want, right? So doing these routines, I've been journaling every single day. And at the end of the day, some of you probably, if you were like me at certain points, I used to have sort of an aversion to journaling. I thought, what's the point? And also, like, always thought my entry had to start with, Dear Diary, and then some profound message. So I didn't journal for the longest time. And then I learned that journaling is like a very powerful thing. So much so that I journal with the challenge every day and without the challenge almost every day. And if you have trouble with that journaling and you're like, I don't know what to write, literally, I like to journal at night, like at the end of my day. And I literally just start by um, recounting my day. Like literally this morning, I woke up, I had breakfast, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then by the end, and sometimes I'll get through the middle of my day and some ideas will start flowing in. But by the end of me like writing about my day, I usually have some form of emotion or thought or something that comes up from doing that. And it makes me sit and think about, like I didn't even realize that was happening or start to notice that that emotion happens when I do a certain thing or what have you, right? So at the end of every day, there's a question that just sort of pops up in my mind that's very like thought provoking and really introspective. So, you guys, asthma is not working with me today, so excuse me for the breathiness, but we're gonna make it. But at the end of every day, there's a question And it's very thought provoking. And what I do is I literally the whole next day just sort of think about that question. Thoughts will come to mind. It helps me, sometimes be creative, what have you, and then just repeat the same process every day. So that's really what the challenge is. It's just one that I created for myself, that could hopefully help other people. And it's been an amazing experience, like I said. And the biggest thing I'm learning is like, you think you're at a place to where you're healing and you're doing so much better, and you're like, oh, I'm over all of these demons that I didn't know I had or that I had, and things just keep popping up. And for me, I'm like, can we get through the part to where I have to work on all the things that like I don't necessarily like to do? Um, so things keep coming up, but every time there's something else that I need to deal with or let go of, there is a sense of like exactly that. Like I could just take a deep breath and like I feel lighter, and it honestly helps me to, I don't know, just deal with things faster the next time. So I don't know if any of you were like me or are like me, and breakups for me were like devastating. Like I could not bounce back from that. You guys have heard a piece of my story when I was like in super depressed states. Anything of that nature, it really just like was so hard for me to bounce back and to get over it. And honestly, I don't know that I really learned very much in the beginning. I just deemed myself a masochist and kept it moving. But now it's like at this point, there is a lesson in literally everything. And so now I just have this way of figuring out like, yes, that stings, that hurts. But what did I get from this? Right? It wasn't all bad. There was an experience that we could learn from. So like the next time there's things that there's boundaries I've put in place for different things. I'm not saying that the reason relationships ended was just one-sided. It was me too, but part of it for me that I learned is that I had to set boundaries with people. And being a people pleaser, sometimes that's very hard for us when we just want to make people happy or we want to keep the peace or what have you. So, if you guys aren't dealing with the internal stuff, it's time to let that go, because I promise you, once you get through it and understand what you're supposed to learn from it, things start to change for you. So that's one aspect of self-care that um, is very helpful and that a lot of people don't do. The next thing I'll say is what I'm learning. As I said, I'm running every single day, minus Sundays. And being disciplined to literally do something every single day that's like not necessarily the most fun thing. Like I will say I like to run, but like the first mile or two, I literally say like, why am I doing this? It's like kind of getting over that hump, but that has also helped me increase like my workouts, things of that nature. And so it's like really building that discipline piece. But the health piece of things, guys, if you don't have your health in order, nothing else matters or nothing else will come together. Just think about a time when you were like super, super sick and you just felt awful and you were just down for the count. What can you actually accomplish in that state? I mean, honestly, like when we feel terrible, there's nothing else we can think about. And for those of you who are executives or entrepreneurs and you're out there doing all the things, if you are neglecting your health, you're doing yourself and your business a disservice. And that could be one of the things that's holding you back from the successes you want. And it's like, even if you define the success as financial, right? Like you want to have a money goal and you hit that, what does it matter if you're on your deathbed? Right. And some of you are out here to leave a legacy for your family and do different things, but we don't want to leave that legacy too soon. Definitely not. We want to be able to work as hard as we need to or that we want to reach those goals. And then I think the whole point for most of us is to really enjoy it with someone, your family, your friends, what have you, however you want to experience that. But I don't think we ever imagine ourselves like working ourselves into the ground. And a lot of that comes from our health, our physical health, and our nutritional health and fitness, I should say. Um, so for those of you who are like me, when you're stressed, when you're tired, any of those things, and you're like, I haven't eaten all day, when you have, it's just been crappy food, and you're like, I don't feel like going home and cooking, so I'm just gonna go through a drive-through or what have you, right? And I don't think there's anything going to a drive-through every so often, but I think when we make it a habit every single day and the choices that we're making aren't conducive to um, our health and our body being able to use the food that's being put in, that really has a huge detriment on where you're going, right? Because it slows you down. If you're super busy and have a crazy schedule, you know you are go, go, go all day. If you eat crappy foods all day, every day, that energy is just not there, right? I don't care how much coffee you drink. I don't care how many energy drinks you're pounding, like that energy is just not there. And it's because we're not treating our bodies in a way that, um, you know what I mean? Like that it can use the nutrients that we're putting in it because our bodies don't really know how to use ingredients from a cheeseburger. Maybe parts of the meat, but like certain aspects of it. But we really need like vegetables, things that aren't so fatty, things that aren't fried. Like that's the point of the story. Just making better choices. So one, give your body the love it needs to be able to sustain the life that you're trying to get. And also to give you that energy. And then also working out gives you energy. I know some of y'all are like, that is wild for you to say that, but it truly does. In the beginning, you just have to get used to it. Your body just has to get used to you doing some extra labor. That's why it hurts. That's why it's in slow motion. That's why you don't want to go do the thing again. But once you get in a rhythm of your workouts, it's like such an energy boost. And like you, once you experience it, you'll understand. I know it's hard for some of you to believe, but it does. It gives you more energy. And before you go into your mind, you're like, well, I'll never do that. I'm working out. I hate going to the gym. You don't have to be in a gym to get movement in, period. I literally make tons of home workouts for my clients. And that's primarily what they do. They work out at home. They're super busy. They come home at the end of the day and they can work out while their kids are doing whatever, or maybe their kids work out with them, or, whatever your life is what I'm saying. You can fit it in anywhere. It could be going for a long walk. If you only have a few minutes and you run, you could go for a run. You could jump rope. Like there's a million different things. And even if you don't want to do that, like maybe cleaning your house or just doing something physically active that you don't normally do, doing things like that on a regular basis is good for you. Even when you feel tired, it will boost your energy. So that's the second thing I would say is making sure that you're taking care of your health and wellness. And then another aspect I would say is the part that we already know. But sometimes, like this week for me personally, I literally cleared my schedule to just have time because I felt overwhelmed. I could tell that I wasn't in a happy state. And anytime that happens, that means my mental health is on the decline, and we need to pump the brakes and stop that and figure out what's going on versus just pushing through, right? Because we have to do this, and like I can't cancel these things. Like you can. Our mental health is so important. Like it is a topic that's still crazy in 2024 that some people still have an aversion to talking about when so many people deal with like a decline in their mental health. And taking a step back, one, the first day I always just do whatever I want to do. I don't care what it is. You want to eat crappy? Great. It's going to make you happy right now. Do it. The next day, we start to like figure out what it is that's making you that way and fixing the problem. Because some of you know what it is, you just don't want to fix the problem. And that's the part that you need to sort of get past if you ever want to be a happy person and live the life that you want to live. So I've definitely been there and just know it's a journey. Like things are going to pop back up. Like for me, I literally took half of last week and then this whole week will be just time off for me time off for me. This is just time for me to sit back and just think about, okay, what is going on as to why I feel this way, and what do we need to deal with, and how do we move forward from there? So just resetting yourself is perfectly normal. Like take a couple of mental health days from work through the weekend or something so you can have solid days to just like get yourselves together. Even if you have kids, a spouse, what have you, you still have to take care of you to be able to be the best version of, mom or dad or, you know, spouse that you need to be. So that's super important. So that's my rant on self-care, that there are definitely more layers to it, but making sure that you are taking care of your health and fitness above everything. Like that is madness to me, that all of us do that. But once we get in a routine of doing it, like that will be second nature. But health and fitness, if you didn't take anything out of this, that's it. For those of you who are interested in learning more about what I do, I'm going to put my information in the show notes for the coaching that I do. And you can just go read about what it is that I offer and what I help people with. And it's really helping them through their self care journey so that they can hit those goals and things that they have tried so long to hit, or maybe hit and then kind of fell off, especially if it was with a fitness goal. So I'll leave that below. We will see you on the next episode. See ya.